Welcome to Haunt Weekly.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this is Haunt Weekly, a weekly podcast with an attract your entertainment community. Whether you're an actor, owner, or just plain aficionado, we aim to be a podcast for you. And we return to you this week without a guest.
Yes.
We have done a long run of great guest spots. I mean, It has been absolutely wonderful. Started with Patrick O'Keefe. Mm-hmm. Then we had Paul from Hunters Against Hate. Mm-hmm. And then we had Ashley. No.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Let me guess myself. From Don't Be a Monster, and we ended with the guys from Code Yellow.
Yes. No, I was thinking that we had one before that, but it wasn't targeted at improving the community. Yeah, we had the Blood Brothers.
Yes, we did. This has been a run of episodes all about improving and more diversifying the haunt community. And if you have not checked out those episodes, I highly encourage you to do so. I think that's a series I'm really, really proud of there. We definitely want to do more in that vein. We got other great people in mind. We're going to do some outreach, I think, and may not be like the 4-week run we were on there, but we're going to do more sooner rather than later, I think. But on that note, keep in touch. Go, if you have not seen those or listened to those episodes, check them out. They are at hauntweekly.com, Haunt Weekly on Facebook, Haunt Weekly on Twitter, youtube.com/Haunt Weekly is the YouTube channel. All the episodes are available there for easy streaming. And you can also find us at iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. So wherever you get your podcast, we're already there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy. So check us out there. All right. So, since this is the first episode we've had without a guest in a while, we've got a lot of housekeeping to catch up on.
Right. Yeah, we do.
One of the things we have to do is we have to announce the winners of the questions of the week previously. But we did not get a chance. Unfortunately, it's been kind of a crazy week.
Right.
Especially for your job, and you're the one that takes the lead on that.
Yeah.
So, we don't have the winners yet. We're going to announce a whole slew next week, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
All right. Does that sound good?
That sounds great.
So we appreciate everyone who answered. We got several people in mind. There were several great answers to it. The previous question was, what are you doing to improve the haunt community? Some great answers came out of that. Mm-hmm. So we'll be sharing those next week. But we have a new question for this week.
We do.
Crystal, take it away.
What's the first thing you will do once it is safe to gather and travel?
Yeah. I like this question because with vaccine being ramped up, we may actually have a light at the end of this COVID tunnel.
Right.
God, I hope so.
Yeah.
Making us old atheists pray to God. But seriously, I'm seriously hoping this is an end to this tunnel. And if it is, what are you looking forward to doing first? What is that thing you just cannot wait to do? Mm-hmm. Crystal, what is your thing?
So after family visits, because we haven't seen family in a year, I'm just really looking forward to being able to go to the local pubs and hang out and not worry about how far people are from me.
Yeah, for me, and it's along the same vein. I miss my bars, man.
No.
But I especially miss, and I've said this before in private, and I'm saying it here publicly, I especially miss the pub. I think a lot of you guys were here for HauntCon, went there with us. Mm-hmm. Crown and Anchor, right there at Algiers Point. I want to go back there. I want to get a pint or 25 of Guinness, somewhere in between those two numbers.
Yeah.
And I want to play crokinole and pick locks and hang out and catch up with the people that I haven't seen in a year plus. And in general, just it's my third place, And it's weird because I work from home anyway. My job has always been work from home. So everyone talks about their third place. You have work and you have home. Well, home and work are the same place for me. So I don't even get a second place.
Right.
But Crown and Anchor and J&K are my third place.
Yeah.
Quote unquote third place. And I haven't been able to really go to them. We've stopped in as permissions waxed and waned. We stopped in for a little bit, but it was never the same experience. It was never anything close.
Yeah.
No, and it wasn't what I go there for.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to everything lifting for that.
Yeah.
But what's your answer? I'm dying to hear what all of you guys and gals and wonderful peoples out there are doing because this is going to be interesting. What is the first thing you're going to do once it is safe to travel and or congregate? All right. On a housekeeping note, we are stopping the physical prizes for just a minute. The main reason is we're so far behind.
We're far behind, and I'm overwhelmed with work stuff, and I need a little break.
And the other issue we have is a lot of the physical prizes were provided by your mom, who is not really able to help with that right now. And
Right. So I'm going to find something else that we can put in
We're
place.
going to work something else. It may be gift cards to the Haunted Weekly store or something like that. It may be that we send merch from the Haunted Weekly store. That may be how we send a physical prize. Just mail a T-shirt at people.
Exactly.
That could work too. I mean, we can mail.
We may even let you pick the one.
Yeah, you pick the shirt, we'll mail it to you.
Yeah.
I mean, we could do that.
Yeah, and we've got more, stuff going up on the store hopefully soon.
Yeah, but the handcrafted prizes, like I said, so many of them are from Crystal's mom, and she's not able to right now. We hope she feels better and gets well. That's all the details I'm saying. But yeah, she's not really able to do that right now. So yeah, and like I said, we're behind anyway. We're hopelessly behind because we've been working so hard on these interviews.
Yeah,
all of our Haunted Weekly time has been invested in getting that done, and all the guests were great and amazing, and were as low difficulty as possible. But on our end, bringing a guest on is always a lot of stress and a lot of extra work.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. They could be the most amazing, punctual, wonderful guest and prepared guest. It's still a lot of extra work.
A lot of my free time has been used for work time in the evenings because work has been crazy since we got back. So, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, you are off the next 2 days.
Yes.
And through proxy, I am too, because I just hitch my calendar to yours. It makes life a lot easier.
And Ellie has off tomorrow too.
Yeah. But it's
not
funny
Tuesday.
because you were not supposed to get off tomorrow. You're supposed to get off Mardi Gras Day. It's Tuesday. But you decided you were going to take it off because 4-day work week for 1-day holiday. It sounds pretty good to me too,
Yeah.
And then they closed the school due to the freeze.
Yes. Yes, they did.
That's like us being double canceled for 2020. Because if COVID hadn't shuttered us, Zeta would have.
Yep.
Zeta would have fucked us up way worse than COVID in that front.
Yeah, it really would have.
With COVID, we were able to get the word out way in advance. With Zeta, it would have been, oh dear God, we have no power. How do we let people know we're closed?
Right, exactly.
So that would have been fun, and luckily it didn't happen. All right. Oh, man. Okay, so we got a lot to go through today, but I do want to talk very briefly about Hunter's Hangout and the kerfuffle that was in there.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend too much time on it. I'm sure just about everyone has heard about it. But basically, Ryan B., he runs the Massacre Haunted House near Chicago. We did not go to it, actually. It was on a Lost Souls tour, but it was the other weekend.
Okay.
We went to Midnight Terror.
Okay.
I had to look it up. And luckily, Japes is kind enough to put all the past tours on his site, so I didn't have to look far.
Yeah.
But I looked it up. No, we did not go to Massacre. We went to Midnight Terror. So I was confused because I knew we went to an M haunt, and that's me and my weird dyslexia. So we didn't go. I can't comment on the quality of the haunt one or the other, but I'm sure it's a fine haunt. But basically, he posted some transphobic comments and then doubled down on them.
Right.
And he was called out on Hunter's Hangout.
Right.
And the admins started removing the posts.
Yeah.
And others, including myself, reposted it. And I earned myself a 24-hour ban from Hunter's Hangout. Apparently, they didn't want to kick me out for good.
No.
But they let me back in after 24 hours. And basically, that's the end of the story. But now there's a lot of backlash against Massacre right now locally in the Chicago area.
Yeah, there's a call for boycotting working there and
boycotting going there. And Japes is one of the participants in that call. And Japes Palace is one of the participants in that.
And the call to action.
Call to action. And I don't want to spend too much time on it because I said this. The whole reason we started that series of great interviews, like I said, just all of them amazing. Each and every one of them amazing for different reasons.
Yeah.
The reason we started was because someone posted on Hunter's Hangout asking for LGBTQ friendly haunts.
Right.
And then people were posting homophobic and transphobic and other things in that thread. And the Haunters Hangout solution to this very sincere question was to take down the question and not, kick out the bigots that were doing horrible things.
Exactly.
And so that's why we said we need to do something. We need to actually make a contribution here. And we just hatched this scheme of we're going to invite all the friends we know that can talk about community building and anti-bigotry and all that stuff, and bring them to, not in one room, but in like one virtual space.
Yeah.
And give them a platform, and that's what we did.
Exactly.
And then right after we finished the last interview, that happens.
Yeah.
That steaming pile of bullshit happens.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that it's important for, the Haunters Hangout people to go and listen to, especially the first episode with Patrick about how you want to build a better community online.
Yeah.
And the first thing that needs to be done is some rules need to be put in place.
Right now they have a rule against quote-unquote personal attacks, which I believe, you could probably put us the calling out Ryan B. as a personal attack. But, I mean, you want to say that, fine, but I also see that's accountability, not an attack.
No.
Is my counterpunch.
No.
But regardless, it doesn't really matter, because the first question, the one that teed the whole thing off, OP did nothing wrong, even by their rules.
Exactly.
Even within the very limited rules they have, it was totally a legit question. He was silenced because other people were being dicks.
Yeah.
And that really upset me. And
yeah.
I don't know. And we need to have some serious talk about what we want for this community. Do we want this to be an inclusive and accepting space? Because there's a lot of pride in how accepting and loving the haunt community is, but time and time again we're seeing that is not true. At least it is not universally true.
Right.
And so go back, listen to those 4 interviews. Haunters Hangout admins, if you catch this, I hope you have some serious reconsideration of your policies, because right now you're not doing anything to improve the community. You're just giving people a place to post their silly projects and ask basic questions about haunting. And that helps some, but we have very serious core issues that need to be addressed.
Yeah. So if that's not the space you're trying to create, then say so.
Yeah, say so just blatantly. Don't say it behind couched rules.
No, just say that, hey, we only want to see your projects. We don't want to see anything else.
No LGBTQ stuff. Just we're done with it. At least, and then it'd be consistent.
Well, and no racist stuff either, because they've done the props of the hanging dummies there, and it always brings up a lot of discussion. Lively discussion, we'll say it that way, as it should, yes. And sometimes it just gets pulled, but I don't know.
We need a place for this. And yeah, we have a podcast, we have a platform, but our platform's not very big. We reach a few hundred to a few thousand people every episode.
Yeah.
We know our numbers are small. We're fine with it.
Yep.
And we know our numbers are small because we talk about heavy stuff.
Yeah.
If we sat around and did nothing but talk about fun stuff, we'd probably have a much more popular podcast. Mm-hmm. But we never put popularity as our priority.
No.
We put doing good and doing well as our priority.
Sorry, you just put me back into
I know, UHC. I realize I accidentally quoted the college you worked at, not when you attended, their tagline.
Yes.
Sorry. I think there's this do good and do well or something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that. But regardless, let's move on. We've got news.
Yes.
Like I said, I didn't want to sink too much time, and I sank more than I intended.
Yes.
First up this week, I'll start, I guess, because we totally lost the plot on who starts. Mm-hmm. TransWorld has been postponed. Now, this is one of the great examples, because we skipped a news week to have more interviews, to fit more interviews in.
Right.
And when we did that, we missed a news episode. And so this actually happened, I think, the day after our last news episode.
Right.
So if this sounds like, that's old news, of course it is, genius. We haven't done a news in 2 months.
Yeah, that was a scheduling error on my part.
And it was also, honestly, it worked out, because as we're going to find, even with 2 months in news, we were kind of stretching a little.
Yeah.
But anyways, regardless, yes, this is from their website. They were scheduled for early March, basically in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 to 3 weeks. They've pushed back to May 6th through the 9th. It'll be the same location, the America Center in St. Louis. It's a gutsy move in my book. COVID's not likely to be much better by then. Everything I hear is aiming by end of summer.
Yeah, that's what
for
I'm hearing too.
for vaccination rates and all that stuff.
Mhm.
I mean, so I don't know. I don't think May's going to be the magic time that happens, but they seem to think it will. It'll be okay by then. Now, they will be requiring masks everywhere, and
Mhm.
they literally list, they say masks will be required everywhere, including, and then proceed to list everywhere, just in case you didn't get what fucking everywhere means.
Well, I would rather them over explain it than
Oh,
under
yeah,
explain it.
absolutely.
You know, because there
And
have been some other issues with TransWorld,
and if
so that's good.
And if you attend TransWorld and you test positive for COVID-19
Mhm.
afterward, you are asked, I'm technically required, I think, to contact TransWorld for contact tracing purposes.
Yeah, within the 2 weeks after the event.
Yeah. So if you test positive day 15 after it's over, then that's fine. You don't have to, well, it's not fine. You're still COVID positive.
Yeah.
But you don't have to contact them.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think May's going to be any better than March. So I don't.
I really do. I wish I could believe that.
Right.
But I think that's just very optimistic. And if there's one thing that the pandemic has beaten out of me, it's optimism.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very true.
So I used to be fairly optimistic about said things, and just 2020 just took all of it and just strangled it right out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever little bit of optimism I had in my life has been replaced by cynical pragmatism,
No.
if that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up.
All right. New York City, an iconic Halloween shop, is closing permanently after nearly 40 years in business. They began in 1981 as a pop-up shop and then moved to its current location in 96. They simply couldn't pull through the pandemic. Pandemic's closing a lot of things that we love, and this is one of them. It operates 2 Pennsylvania locations, one in Downingtown, nearest Philadelphia, and the other in Reading. They were offering 75%
I think it's
off.
Reading, actually.
Reading? Okay.
I don't know. Someone from Pennsylvania, tell us what the hell that pronunciation is.
Yeah. Was offering 75% off clearance sales, which, if I were anywhere near there, I would have gone. Was a Halloween icon for many years, so that's really sad to hear.
And what's really sad is I scrolled through some of the comments and I read some of the comments because the Instagram post about it has 40,000 reactions, and it's not that particularly busy of a Instagram channel.
Right.
And 3,000 comments, and some of the comments that were highlighted in the article and also some of the comments I noticed were things like, hey, when my grandmother first moved to the United States, this was the first store she actually liked.
Right.
This
Yeah.
was the first thing she loved in the United States. She's like, now I understand America.
Yeah.
I'm like, well played.
Yeah.
Well played, Grandma.
Yeah.
Well played.
Not sure what that means.
Not sure either, but it's awesome.
Does that mean that we're just over the top and silly?
I have not the foggiest what that means, but I think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And okay, yeah, this is a Halloween shop and not a haunted attraction, but it might as well have been a year-round haunted attraction in and of itself. And it was a very, very iconic. I had actually heard about it previously. This is something that's actually come up. I don't know if it's come up in the news, but I think we've mentioned it once upon a time before. But yeah, big, big deal. Like I said, 40 years in business.
Yeah.
Like I said, started as a pop-up, took over the current location in 1996. And then, yeah, just could not make it through the pandemic. But between New York rents and pandemic choking sales, yeah, it's been rough. But they survived the downturn of their early 2000s. They survived other major economic downturns, and this one was just too damn much.
Yeah.
Okay, Greg just jumped in. It's Reading. All right, fine. I should know that town names are never pronounced how sane people would read them.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Greg, for the heads up on that one. Oh man, but so yeah, and then again, we're from the state with Aloha, which is spelled aloha for any sane human being. But that's pronounced Aloha because all 5 people that lived there couldn't stand their town name being Aloha.
Yeah.
But anyways, neither here nor there. It's a sad closure. I really don't have all that much to add other than to say, God, it's tough. This has been tough, and for any year-round shop like this, it's going to be even more painful.
Right.
because you're dependent upon that regular foot traffic. You're dependent upon people coming in, especially in New York City where you got those high rents and
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I'm like you. I saw the 75% off clearance sale one.
Yeah. Yeah, I looked for if they were putting it online. I didn't see anywhere.
No, I didn't.
So,
I didn't check either. But I think we would have missed our chance anywho, given that this actually happened once again toward the beginning of this particular news cycle.
yeah.
Well, speaking of things that we're saying goodbye to today,
Mm-hmm.
we're also saying goodbye to the Disneyland ride, Snow White's Scary Adventures. Now, I've never been to Disneyland. I've been to Disney World, and I don't think they had Snow White's Scary Adventure there. I don't recall it being there. Maybe it is, and it just was something I avoided because, I went to Disney World as a teen and late teen. And I wasn't exactly looking for Snow White stuff, but
Yeah.
as a late teen boy. But regardless, this is an article by Christine Struble at Fansided. Basically, what they did is they announced they were shutting down the ride for refurbishment. And that's a very common thing. We talked about the refurbishment of the Haunted Mansion
Right.
not that long ago.
Well, and they've been able to do some upgrades while it's been COVID season.
Yeah, and so while you're
For the
shut
past
down
year.
or have very limited capacity,
Yeah.
now's a great time to take some of these rides offline, give them the little spit and polish and elbow grease that they need, and
Yeah.
get them back up and running.
And looking at some of the pictures of the state it was in before they did that, it needed it.
Yeah.
It did need something. However,
I was actually sitting. This is an aside. I was actually watching a video later. I'll talk about it later again, I'm sure. But I was watching all the moving bits and bobs on one of these rides, and thinking that has to move that exact way thousands of times a day, 365 days a year, without breaking. I'm always blown away that the reliability of it all is what blows me away.
yeah.
But regardless, neither here nor there. But anyways, they decided when they took it down and for refurbishment that they were going to completely change the ride.
Right.
It will no longer be Snow White's Scary Adventure. It will become Snow White's Enchanted Wish.
Ew. No.
Basically, the previous version, the evil witch played a very front and center role. She was like the primary character of it,
Right.
which actually sounds kind of badass.
I know. If you had known that, you might have looked
I might
for
have
Snow
gone.
White.
Yeah, I might have actually gone to it. Might have looked for it and gone to it.
Yeah.
If it had been there. But yeah, the witch played the lead role. Now she's more or less gone, and now it has quote unquote a sparkly lighter tone. They even repainted the exterior of it. They went from stone gray.
Right.
It looked like, a castle.
Yes.
And they repainted it in like pastel looking bullcrap.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of this move. I'm not sure why. And this seems to be a trend that I don't like. That things that are for kids that are a little bit scary or spooky are being taken away
Yeah, I agree.
from like normal everyday encounters.
Well, in the article, once again,
Mm-hmm.
Christine Struble
Uh-huh.
had an excellent point in her article, and that was that interest in Disney villains is at an all-time high.
Yeah.
You have the what's that show about the daughters and sons of the villains?
Oh,
Oh, god damn it!
I
Help me
don't
out, Chad.
remember.
Come on.
Yeah.
It's but they have the that show about they have a whole TV show about the family basically of the villains of like Maleficent's daughter and all that stuff. So they have that going down. They did a whole thing with a whole parody of it with one of the recent films.
Right.
And of course, villain song CDs always outsell the hero songs and all that.
Oh, yeah. The hero songs suck. Like, I listen to the villain songs when I'm working in the haunt because I like it.
Be prepared.
Exactly. I'm
One of
trying
the-
to be prepared for the crowds of people that are going to swarm
one of
us.
the greatest Disney songs of all time.
Yeah.
But there's such a hype and such business around Disney villains. It's like you would think Disney'd be looking to capitalize on it more on the theme park
Yeah.
and put the villain even more front and center.
Yeah, because, I mean, I know that they have the breakfast with the villains thing at one of the hotels.
I actually did that once.
Yeah. And they have the, whenever I see something that's gone viral from Disney, it's almost always a villain encounter. it's very rarely a princess encounter. So, you know,
Yeah,
there's that.
So, yeah, it's just, it drives me crazy. The Descendants is the show. I finally got around to looking it up. I finally broke down.
It would be a word for, people born of the same family.
It would be. So, yeah, Disney has been just sort of chipping away at this over the years, and I don't get it because there's so much love for them. And like you said, and Disney's been sort of, I guess you would say, nerfing their scary for a while. Like, I remember Alien Encounters,
Right.
legitimately the scariest haunted attraction, quote unquote, I have ever been in my life. Ain't there no more. It's now Stitch's Adventure or some crap like that, and it's all silly and funny and gross and stuff, and it's like,
Yeah, and we love Stitch.
I love Stitch. I love Stitch. Lilo and Stitch is probably my favorite Disney series of movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
That's probably my jam. But yeah, I know. Bring back Alien Encounter. Scare the piss out of those little kids for me. Traumatize them bastards. Come on.
Then they'll want to grow up and be able to do it to other people.
Where's the next generation of haunters coming if Disney won't scare them?
Exactly.
There you go.
Get that interest in early.
Moving on.
All right. San Leandro police arrest a man with a clown mask and AR-15 in a car. This article is by Lisa Hicks at Fox 2. Back in January, a man was arrested during a traffic stop. He was carrying an It Clown mask, multiple firearms, and he's been booked on multiple drug and weapons violations. So he has all this stuff going on and an It mask.
Yeah. And what does the media lead with?
The It mask, obviously.
He had an AR-15 supposedly with a 50-round drum,
Uh-huh.
which I'm pretty sure is hella illegal in California.
I would think so. I would hope so.
Because California has some really strict gun laws. I guess the reason I wanted to share this, even though it's not directly haunted attraction related, is I know there are members of our community that A, do drugs recreationally,
Yeah.
and B, are into firearms.
Yeah.
Hopefully legally and safely and all that stuff. But
Right.
And all that's fine. Just remember, if you have an It mask in your car when you get pulled over with guns and drugs,
Yeah.
it's going to become a local news story because of the goddamn It mask.
Yep.
Like, there was no indication he was doing anything with the It mask.
No.
He wasn't supposedly robbing a bank. I mean, I'm more curious why he had all these guns.
I'm not even sure if it said what the actual stop was about, other than
they
a
did not.
traffic
The police actually,
violation.
it says in the article, the police did not say what the stop was originally about.
Yeah. See,
But no, it's just frustrating as a haunter. That's like you have this guy with an insane amount of guns and insane kinds of guns, and apparently drugs, unspecified drugs. I mean, for all we know, it could be pot, but I'm assuming a guy with a 50-round drum magazine, probably not.
no. Who knows?
But who knows?
It didn't say.
And the news media's like, he had a clown mask and an AR-15.
Yeah. Like, what is that about, guys? Come on. Focus on the important
Normally,
stuff.
like I said, this wouldn't have made Haunt Weekly news, especially on a month like this where we had 2 months. But I've been thinking about this nonstop since you shared the story at me last month. This has been on my brain. I have not been able to get it out. So now it's going to be on yours.
Yeah.
That's just rules, man. If I have to hear it, you have to hear it.
Nope.
Seriously, though. Well, anyways. Speaking of haunters getting unfairly slighted,
Yeah.
this is some more stinking bullshit.
Yeah,
against
I
haunters.
read this list, and there were very few on there that I agreed with.
Oh, we're getting into this. We're going to be doing this.
Yeah.
We're doing this. Okay. Abandoned Acres Farm Haunted Attraction, apparently it's in Michigan, was named the quote-unquote worst attraction in the whole state of Michigan.
Yeah.
Now, this is on a list by James Stevens at travel.alot.com. I've never heard of this site. I have no idea who these assholes are, but I don't like them already.
Yeah.
We're off on the wrong foot, James.
Right.
Yeah, for reasons unclear, the list decided to pick on poor Abandoned Acres Farm Haunted Attraction and name it the worst tourist attraction of all time and all kinds
Yeah.
in the state of Michigan. Now, anyone from Detroit or anywhere from Michigan in general would love to suggest worst attractions in your state. now's a great time. Drop them in the chat. If you've been to a really shitty tourist attraction in Michigan,
Yeah.
get your licks and join us, because we're going to have some fun with this list.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, they said that the reason that it was so bad was because it's supposed to be abandoned and there were people there to take your tickets and scare you. What do you think it is?
Oh, and it wasn't a farmhouse. It was 2 corn mazes.
Yeah. With a farmhouse that takes the tickets out. But yeah. So yeah, it's got 2 corn mazes, one with scary clowns and one with other scary stuff.
I'm going to make it a point. If I ever make it up that way for a haunt tour, I am making it a point to go to abandoned acres.
Yeah.
And see this for myself, because I can guarantee you it will not be the worst haunted attraction I've been to. I have been to plenty of shitty haunted attractions.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you it's not the worst tourist attraction in the entire state of Michigan.
No.
But, my God, this list is such a pile of crap, too, because 90% of it is popular tourist attractions that you probably know or at least have heard of.
Right.
And they're just telling you, oh, it actually sucks. Don't go there.
Yeah, and it seemed like they may have gotten these from Google results or something. But I don't know where they got these answers from.
Louisiana,
Uh-huh.
our state,
Uh-huh.
they listed Bourbon Street as the worst attraction. Now, I will be the first to admit, Bourbon Street is overrated.
Yeah.
And if you're a tourist in our town, you probably want to see it. You probably want to do it.
Yeah.
You should. I'm not arguing against it. But there are, some great things on Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
World of Beer is one of my genuine favorite places to hang out in the city.
No.
Because it has all the beer.
Yeah.
So there's some awesome stuff to do there. And also, if the gay district of Bourbon Street is a lot of fun, especially if you are a gay man or woman or LGBTQ somewhere in the spectrum there. It's a great place to hang out. That's on Bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all this great stuff on Bourbon, but I do admit it is overhyped and overblown. I grant that completely.
Yeah, don't just go to Bourbon.
Yeah, just there's lots of other stuff to do. Here's the thing, though. We went to the Louisiana Science Museum.
Oh, I was thinking Natchitoches Christmas lights.
Oh, that's good, too. Oh, you see, there's 2 that are worse automatically.
Yeah, Natchitoches gets, like, people from around the world to go see these damn lights, and it's not good.
No, I mean, I have seen private displays that were bigger, badder, better.
Yeah, and I mean, it's good for that area, but that's because there's nothing else around it.
Like, pull up a map when you get a chance and look at Natchitoches, that's how you spell it, not how you say it. Once again, going back to town names that are not pronounced the way any sane person would do so. Mm-hmm. But it's Natchitoches. And you'll see that there ain't jack shit around it for miles and miles and miles. But no, I was thinking the Louisiana Science Museum in Baton Rouge was my pick. Because we went there once, because we like science. They should rename it the Louisiana Jesus Museum. Yeah. And just save people like me a lot of heartache. Yeah. Because there is more Jesus than science. And if you want to have the Louisiana Jesus Museum, fine. Have the Louisiana Jesus Museum. That's fine. Just, you don't need us science buffs going there and getting pissy about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
So, no, I mean, looking at what they did to Louisiana, I have no doubt that they were wrong. Now, they were completely right about South Carolina, though. Yeah. That south of the border is the worst. Yeah, that's absolutely 100% true. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure Ellie is going to get mad to find out that they had South Dakota was Wall Drug.
Yeah. Yeah, I added that to the list because you left it off. And I'm like, no, we've got to mention Wall Drugs on this list because Ellie wants to take us there wherever near South Dakota.
Yeah, so they had
I mean, the National Museum of Funeral History in Texas, I would love to go there.
Just the photo they showed of those old hearses?
It sounds awesome. It may not be for you, but that doesn't mean it's not for me. Yeah. You know?
Christ. Anyway. Honestly, if you're just looking for the worst attraction in the French Quarter, I would say the Museum of Death. Yeah. That's a pretty crap museum. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Mm-hmm. I'm done with that. Okay. I think it's your turn or is it mine? I don't know. We went on a hell of a tangent there.
We did. It was pretty even. Okay, so former Jackass star Bam Margera's wife, Nicole Boyd, is an actress, and she's getting some attention lately. And this article is by Tatiana Yomori at Distractify.
I'm glad you had to do the name and not me.
I think that was
I think you're right. I think you got it.
yeah.
think you
No,
nailed it.
I think that name is one that I knew from childhood. Actually,
Oh, wow.
um,
Convenient.
yes, but Nicole
Shoot,
Boyd has been struggling to get her big break. She's worked on an episode of TV series of Togetherness, but she's a haunter. That's why we're listing this here. Because I'm like, why the heck are you sending me this article about this random actress? But she has been working at, and it wasn't
Penhurst
in the
Asylum
Penhurst Asylum.
since 2014.
Yeah. It's a long freaking time.
And one of the things they mention is she's using it to hone and work on her acting skills and to grow as an actor by haunting. And this is
Yeah.
not something we've actually thought about. We've thought about, okay, we reach out to the drama departments, we reach out to theater kids and all that.
Right.
And we reach out to those people, the local community theater and all that. But yeah, no, if this is not just a place where actors can also do well, this is a place that can help actors become better actors.
Right. Because you can play lots of different roles in a haunt and
It's very interactive.
try to hone that in. Yeah.
If you want some improv skill improvement, this will help you. So
Yeah.
no, I saw that and it made a ton of sense that she's using a haunt as a place to get some of her acting bug in, but also to hone her skills. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just interesting to see a working actress using haunting as a way to grow and further her experience, and also get her kicks in, because between tapings and all that.
Yeah. And we have to get better about using the word actor for both.
Yes.
Because it's, yes.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right.
I just did a thing at work about pronouns and terms and how to make them genderless.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point. All right.
Sorry.
Next up, it is Valentine's Day as we're recording this, and this will be going live on Lundi Gras. So once again, as we talked about last year, Ranch of Horror is sending in the clowns for their Valentine's Day grams. This is great. It's an article by Samantha Solomon at ABC 10. And basically, the Ranch of Horror has like the most disparate collection of locations I've ever heard of. I believe they are in California, Missouri, Louisiana, and they mentioned Tennessee in the article, but it wasn't on their site. I don't know what Tennessee's about.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But anyways, we've been to the one in Louisiana.
Okay.
That was the haunted hayride we did up near Rise.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
we also did the zombie paintball.
Yes. Yes, we did.
That was fun. Okay, but anyways, at all locations, but in particular the California one. And the California one has been completely closed due to COVID. So one of the ways they're keeping their actors working is they've been offering these clownograms through the entirety of season and after season.
Yeah.
And continuing on now. So basically, you can get a package. There are 5 packages available, and basically what changes between them isn't, the clown. It's the gifts the clown gives the target of the clownogram.
Yes.
It ranges from you get a card to you get all the gifts,
Yeah.
basically. So just do the 71.
Yeah.
Come on. But anyways, they do contact the person before, quote unquote, surprising them, and that's for the safety of the actor or the safety of the handler.
Right.
Because if you imagine if you sent a clownogram to someone that has like a genuine, deep-seated fear of clowns, like a mortal triggering level fear, PTSD fear.
Or someone who has a gun. I don't want to cover on this clownogram shot because they surprised somebody.
Binky the clown died.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need that. You're right.
Well, that and, in times of COVID, it's nice to know that somebody's coming to your house ahead of time.
And that way you can mask up and keep your distance and diddly-diddly-dick. But no, I mean, this is great. We actually covered them. They started this last season, and we talked about it then. But they've expanded it now to all the states that do. They said they had limited locations in Louisiana. It was not on their site. I checked. They had information about the opening of the Louisiana location, but not any information about the clownograms.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Still,
neat idea. And honestly, give the gift of a clown.
Yeah.
Or don't. I mean, I don't really know. I'm not your boss.
You're not the boss of them. So, Yeah. All right. So next up, we have the
More happy
popular.
news.
Yes, the popularity of Randolph County's haunted trail explodes amid COVID-19 pandemic. And originally, my brain said, "Oh no, there was an outbreak of COVID at a haunted." No, no,
No.
there was popularity
And,
explosion.
and apparently they did a very good job preventing such a
Exactly.
COVID explosion, one of the reasons we're highlighting them.
Exactly. This article is by Michelle Shin at the Tribune. In Randolph County, North Carolina, Spooky Bottom Trail says
Sorry, popularity.
their popularity doubled in 2020. They went from 7 to 10,000 visitors a year to 19,000. They have strict guidelines in place. Guests waited in cars, queue actors toured the parking lot instead of having them wait in a
like
queue.
line, which I thought that was freaking brilliant.
Yeah,
Hey.
that's nice, you know?
Now, hey, you're going to need a huge goddamn parking lot.
Right.
But it makes a lot of sense. You have a parking lot big enough for everyone to wait in, then have the what would be your queue actors go harass the people in the cars, and they're always separated by the glass of the car.
Yeah. And they had to submit COVID plans to the health department for indoor portions. So they had to do that before they opened, and it was all approved.
And they almost didn't get to open because of that.
Right.
In fact, apparently, according to the article, they worked like through the night, basically, on their 35-page COVID plan.
Yeah.
On the inside bits. So they did well. They got it done.
All the actors were masked, and they used spray paint to use the to blend the mask into the makeup above.
Yeah.
Airbrushing, yeah.
I don't think they use spray paint. Then you have some high-ass actors.
Well, you know. Hand sanitizer stations were everywhere. Social distancing was enforced, including 4 actors, so they kept that 6 feet distance. Due to the increase, cost uptake in customers did not increase profits.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate bit. Because they had to spend all the extra money on the parking and the outlays on hand sanitizer and the COVID separations and the barriers and all that. Even though they nearly doubled the number of people who came through, they did not make additional money.
Right.
From a profit standpoint, it was a perfectly normal year.
Yeah.
But still, it sounds like they put in a lot of good effort to be safe.
Right.
And they enjoyed a boon because of it. I mean, and like I said, and they did say that there were issues the first few weeks and that they were running around trying to correct them as they could. And I do have some sympathy of that, but it's like everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. It's one of the oldest expressions.
Yeah.
Everyone has a plan until the haunt opens.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, because, customers are unpredictable.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's important to be able to change on the fly and adapt to what the needs are.
Yeah, I agree.
And they seem to do that.
And COVID has really added a complicated layer here because even though I genuinely believe that most people want to be safe and want to be good about it, the people that are going to haunts are going to skew toward the not caring as much side of things.
Right.
So you have this issue of the crowd maybe not so eager to follow the rules. Like we, as part of our respecting and not wanting to be bad about COVID, we didn't go to haunts.
No.
We tried one. We were not satisfied with the distancing. We were not satisfied with how it was working. We left. We didn't try again.
Yeah. That was it.
And we made it clear what we were doing. One and done. And you know what? I stand by that decision.
Yeah.
But the people that are going to haunts maybe skewing more toward the taking it lightly. So then you have to find ways to actually enforce it. One good way to help enforce it: keep them in their goddamn cars until it's time to come up.
Yeah.
That's a good way. A lot of haunts were not doing that. And that's why you would go to haunts that have supposedly time ticketing, but they are selling tickets on site.
Mm-hmm.
That's not time ticketing.
Nope.
And then they had a traditional queue line, and they were just trusting the customers to socially distance.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing the pandemic has taught me, it's a lot of people do not know what 6 feet looks like.
That is true. And it's also true that back in October, we reported in the news that the audiences were skewing younger.
Yeah.
And, kids at that point, we didn't think that they were really affected by COVID. Research has shown that there have been more young deaths this past year than were
Well, and
expected.
the worst part is that kids are considered super spreaders
Yeah,
when they do get it. They may not be
exactly.
as deeply impacted physically, but they're very, very excellent spreaders.
Yeah.
Which, if you've ever been around a kid or a teen, you absolutely know why already. You don't have to have it. Kids are fucking gross.
Yeah.
Basically what it comes down to. Go to a college if you don't believe me.
Yeah.
Just go to a college. They're fucking gross.
Yeah.
All right. Now, this is not news, but I love this. In fact, we're pretty much done with the news part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I love these last two so much. I like ending our news episodes on a couple of upbeat stories, and we got two really great ones this week. I love both of these. First one, an article by Ryan Ogilvy at Inside the Magic. You can virtually ride a guest favorite version of the Haunted Mansion. Now, if you're listening to this podcast, judging from our stats, odds are about 90% or plus you're in these United States.
Yeah.
And if so, you've probably never been to Disneyland Paris.
Right.
The odds of that are fairly low. Well, Disneyland Paris is closed due to COVID, but right now, there's a YouTube video embedded in this article. You can take a virtual ride on their Haunted Mansion attraction. Wait a minute, Jonathan. Why would I care to do that? I've seen the Haunted Mansion before. I hear you ask. And then I smack you because you're not listening. It's because they have a completely different version of the Haunted Mansion.
Nice.
It is located in Frontierland, so it is more of a Wild West theme than the more Victorian styling that we're used to.
Interesting.
It tells a different story. In fact, it's a very lengthy, morbid story. I won't go into it but it involves basically a woman and all her suitors keep getting murdered because her father. So it's really kind of a fucked up story, honestly. Like, this is for kids? Jesus Christ.
So apparently Disney Paris does not have problems.
Yeah, Disney Paris gives zero fucks about your kid's sanity, all right? Let's be clear.
Well, and I think that, learning about fear and what's real and what's not is important for kids.
Yeah.
And I think that, getting rid of it because you don't think they can handle it is just wrong.
I concur. Kids deserve to be safe.
Yeah.
They deserve to experience all of the emotions they want and need to experience.
Yeah.
And that does include fear, I believe. I do genuinely believe that. It's a short 4-minute video, though, so it's not the full attraction, but includes most of the highlights from it. And it's basically a glimpse at a version of the Haunted Mansion that's unlike any other. And many people say it's the best version. So, definitely check that one out. It was a great video. I loved it. And this is what got me thinking about all the bits and bobs that have to move. Like, there's one scene where the piano's playing itself, a very cliche thing.
Right.
But I'm sitting there thinking, man, those piano keys have to move exactly like that at exactly that time and exactly that way. Thousands and thousands and thousands of times per day, 365.
Yeah.
No break, no respite, other than standard maintenance in the evenings, I'm sure. That is bananas.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what got me thinking about it.
Yeah, talking about the the durability of haunted houses and things. That's very true. All right, and finally tonight, this article is by Jonna Michael at Cat Country 107.3. Brigantine, New Jersey?
I think it's Brigantine, yeah.
Brigantine, New Jersey. Really should listen to how these things are pronounced before we get on air.
Yeah, it's more fun to watch us struggle with. I think that's half the reason people listen to this podcast.
Maybe. Their residents are getting nostalgic for a long-gone haunted attraction. So the Brigantine Castle opened as a year-round haunt in 1976 and quickly became so popular that it was repeatedly sued for lack of parking and bathrooms.
Yeah, basically they had inadequate parking for the massive crowds they were drawing. And it's unclear, by the way, if it's actually year-round or tourist season. I'm pretty sure it was tourist season. But in the boardwalk, that's going to be like the flip of what we think of as haunt season.
Right.
So, anyway, continue. Sorry.
So they wound up limiting the number of buses that would take visitors off and on the island. The structure burned down in 1986 and never reopened. However, you can view the castle's commercial on YouTube now, and it's classic 80s cheese.
Did you watch this video?
I didn't have a chance.
Oh.
But go ahead.
Talk
about it.
It is amazing. Okay, we've seen haunted attraction commercials look like the mortuary.
Yeah.
Does one every year. And the mortuary thing is like, and this is true for a lot of haunted attractions, unfortunately. It's we buy a bunch of stock footage from whatever sites we're going to buy it from, cobble it together, and maybe we'll shoot a few shots or photographs inside the haunt, and that's it. You know what I mean?
No.
This is pure B-movie, 80s B-movie, just amazingness. And the voice and the voiceover for it is great. It's like, what you would like it's like a horror host, for like Sven Gulli's doing it type thing. It's amazing. It's a wonderful video. It's a time capsule of that era. And I mean, yeah, we had haunted attractions in the 60s and 70s and into the 80s. I know, I saw some of them and went to some of them.
Yeah.
And it's in the 80s because I was born in 1980. But I never fathomed them having commercials. It didn't actually dawn on me they might have commercials and TV presence.
Yeah.
Because I always saw that as like the JC, the charity era of haunting.
Right.
The more happy, fun time. But yeah, you have an attraction like this. It's a serious tourist attraction. And it was not the worst in New Jersey, obviously.
Yeah.
Screw you, list. It's going to retroactively name Brigadine Castle the worst in New Jersey. I just hear him racing to do it.
Yeah.
Just to spite me. But no. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, they're right next to Brigantine, New Jersey is like right next to Atlantic City. Atlantic City's on an island off of the coast of New Jersey. And Brigantine's like the island right next to it. It's like that weird town we drove through on the way to Galveston.
Yeah, I think Atlantic City was on the list.
Yeah, there was something in Atlantic City. I don't remember what it was.
The boardwalk or something.
Yeah, seriously, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, what was I talking about? Anyways, but no, it's a great video. It's only 27 seconds. Check it out. Definitely give it a watch because it is so much fun. Okay, yeah, it looks like a cheesy haunted house. I'm not going to lie or pretend it doesn't.
Yeah.
But it looks like a lot of fun. And they talk about from the highest tower to the deepest dungeon of the castle. And I'm pretty sure it was like one story or two. You know what I mean?
No.
And then I'm pretty sure it wasn't that big. But yeah, you had like a Wolfman character. You had stone wall panels that looked like they're from the late 70s, early 80s. It was just great. I loved it. It tickled so many funny bones. You should check it out.
Okay.
All right. That's it for the news this week. Let's return to the question of the week. I saw that we had some answers in chat. The question again is, what is the first thing you're running out and doing the minute it's safe to travel and or congregate?
Okay. Ellie said go into a restaurant and eat. That is definitely something we have not done in almost a year.
Yeah, it's true.
Elliot Ramey said looking forward to playing D&D in person again.
Oh, that's a good one.
Greg Reinhardt said, of course, see family, but definitely get together with members of my haunt. We've all been saying we'll meet up ASAP no matter what time of year it is.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah. And TJ Logan said, I'm looking forward to having a life cast done for future projects of my haunt. When this is over, it's got pushed back because of limitations due to travel.
And also due to COVID, because that's a lot of intimacy and a lot of time.
It is.
And you can't, we can't be masked. Yeah, now it's not a good time to get a live cast made, even if it's next door.
Yeah. Yes. But after COVID, which is what we're talking about,
exactly.
that's what he's running out and doing, and I think it's a great idea.
That is awesome. They tried to make a live cast of me. It didn't work.
No,
we tried to make one of Farrell.
We tried to make one of them, and they wanted to do yours right after the Calico incident. So
that's right.
We couldn't.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had literal open wounds on my head.
Yeah.
Not a good time to get a live cast.
No.
Not a good time for a live cast. You got a point on that one.
Yeah.
Anyways, now I'm sad. But regardless, it doesn't matter. Thank you, everyone, for answering the question of the week. I think that's all we have.
Yeah.
On that note, we greatly appreciate you spending the past hour with us. You can check out more Haunt Weekly, and like I said, definitely check out the last 4 interviews we did. All of them are great. All of them well worth listening to. You can find those at hauntweekly.com or Haunt Weekly on Twitter, Haunt Weekly on Facebook, youtube.com/Haunt Weekly is our YouTube channel. definitely check out all of your past episodes there with convenient lists and organization. It's great. You can also find us at Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you get your favorite podcast, wherever you get your favorite place to get your podcasts. Really nailing that closing, Jonathan. Just stick the landing.
That's how they know it's live.
That's how you know it's live and we don't edit this stuff. Oh, man. But anyways, definitely any place you get your podcast from, we're probably already there. So check us out and happy listening. But until next time, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
This is Haunting Weekly, episode 272, doing the January, February news, though technically the December through February news because we skipped one. We will see you all next week, and I don't know what the topic is. We'll announce it sometime soon. See you then.